even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list. Hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me, I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on to the hearse. Party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Grand Rising and good morning. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday. And man, we are still buzzing from last week's momentum. I got to bring in my co-host, Big O. What up, Big O? Happy Monday, man.
Bay Holiday. I'll be honest with you. This is our chill, relaxed setup right here. We need a chill, relaxed setup. I know people are used to seeing us over there at the desk and everything else. But after this weekend, when you breathe in, breathe out.
I'm with it all the way.
Oh, man. How are you, though?
I'm good, man. You know, hey, working all weekend, brother. You know what I'm saying? It did not stop, not 1 minute. So, you know, I'm enjoying this Monday, nice and cool. I like the relaxed setup, man. I'm digging it.
Yeah, no. This is a good setup here. And this is about this time. I mean, man, a year and an episode basically is where we're at today. Hey, want to remind everybody out there, this is the perfect time right now to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the Morning Update Show with people who you feel could benefit from culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Also, got to give a big shout out to our $5 family. I like that better. We said our $5 army, you know what I'm saying? I got to give a big shout out to our $5 family. Man, you guys are keeping us on air. We appreciate your support and everything else. And, you know, Trey, we've got a truncated show here today. We've got a production that's coming up right at the top of the hour, but we got a few headlines to jump into as well.
All right. Well, that's what it's all about, man. Giving the people the news they can use. Let's get into it.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. This first one right here, this one's gonna hit you where it hurts. And especially what we've been talking about and our community voices, our partnership with Vanish in Seattle, about Seattle businesses that are vanishing and not vanishing, of course. Yeah. But here's one that's vanishing. If we can put that up, all you. The story of Converge Media. Not this one. Oh, you're right. Hold on. Sorry. Actually, you see, this is what happens when we finally, we went hard for a year, and then we finally celebrated, and now it's like, man, I'm over here freestyling, not looking at my sheet. Before we get into the headline, this video right here got so much feedback and so much response from community members. Where am I at? Okay, I'm here in the middle camera. We got so much feedback from community members. I mean, and not even community people all around Seattle, because, Converge, we like to be like, we like modern day hip hop historians or something. And so we're always trying to tell people and give people some history on some things. And so we made the acknowledgement video for the anniversary show. And, because we was like, we can't really jump this off without really acknowledging the people whose shoulders we standing on. And that video got so much run and feedback. So we actually wanted to pop that in right now. Go ahead, Oya. The story of Converge Media did not start at the Seattle protests or at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, nor 4 years ago when we very first opened our doors. The true story of Converge Media is firmly rooted in the legacy of Black media heroes of yesterday, whose shoulders that we stand upon today. Converge Media is firmly rooted in the pioneering spirit of Horace Caton Sr., who over 125 years ago launched the Seattle Republican newspaper alongside his wife, Susie Revels Caton, a trailblazer in her own right, serving as the associate editor, a groundbreaking feat for a woman, and especially a Black woman at that time. We are rooted in the visionary eye of Al Smith, who documented Black beauty, culture, vibrance, and excellence through his lens. We are rooted in the benevolence of Fitzgerald Beaver, who envisioned the Facts newspaper, the very same newspaper where my father, James Salisbury Jr., was a staff photographer over 4 decades ago. We are rooted in the broad and innovative shoulders of Chris Bennett, who with his Z-Twins radio took the story of Black excellence to the airwaves. We are rooted in the fearlessness of Roberta Bird Barr, who 56 years ago broke ground and shattered stereotypes as she hosted the TV show Face to Face that tackled issues of race and equity head on. We are rooted in the rhythms of Gordon Curvey, whose music Inner City brought our culture and vibes to TV screens across the Emerald City. Converge Media is also inspired by our contemporary icons. We are inspired by the commitment to storytelling from Tony B and Rainier Avenue Radio, and inspired by the passion and dedication of Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. So you see, when you look at Converge Media today, and especially as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Morning Update Show, just know that our story did not begin with us, nor will it end with us, as it is our duty at Converge Media to broaden our shoulders for the next generation of Black media innovators, to stand firmly upon them and to tell the stories of our community to generations yet to come. Share the stream.
Wow. I mean, when I first saw that, man, I was just overjoyed. And I'm so glad that all of you out there are responding to it the same way that I did. And I know you felt that passion as it was being created. Oh,
yeah. I mean, we couldn't, this is our moment. It's our moment. And, once a year, celebrate anniversary, everything else. And I really couldn't see this moment passing by without us like really putting it out there. I mean, we consistently acknowledging Black media in Seattle. And one of the things that we're really proud of here at Converge is that our rise here in the city hasn't come at the expense of other Black media, and every step of the way we continuously want to build upon and promote and let people know what's going on and everything else. But like that video was real special to me too, especially the part there at the facts. When we talk about that, it's my dad. My dad, but before he opened Salisbury Photography, my dad was a staff photographer there on the facts. And a big shout out to the Black Heritage Society of the state of Washington, Stephanie Johnson Tolliver, SJT, because she found a photo that my father had taken over 4 decades ago.
Wow. I mean, you're absolutely right. Sometimes you got to see it to remember it almost. And so I love that we're doing that, because so many of our audience members may be newer to Seattle, may not have that history. We got people that are outside of Seattle. So really tying it back to these historical ties and showcasing the strength of Black media that's been here for decades. We're just now happy to be a part of that legacy.
Definitely. All right, so we got that out there. So we'll move on here to the headlines right now. If you can pop this one up, this is especially if you're a Seattle person. I know we got a lot of new people here, but man, Borrachini's, they're calling it quits. Borrachini's Bakery, a Seattle destination for almost a century, is closed for good. This is Seattle Times. This is Eric Lacidis from the Seattle Times reporting. And, Borrachini's have been closed for a while due to COVID. A lot of people, they're not celebrating. They're not, having parties and everything else. But this is a loss. And this is a loss for not only like our neighborhood. So it's crazy because Borrachini's is on Rainier, right? Kind of where Rainier and 23rd come together. And Borrachini's 100 years ago, that's what you call Garlic Gulch, right? Mm-hmm. So that area of Rainier, and that's why there's Remo Borrachini's Bakery right there on Rainier, because 100, like how we talk about 100 years ago, First AME right on Capitol Hill, because you had some Black people up there that were going to church on Capitol Hill that lived in the area. Well, 100 years ago, Remo Borrachini's Bakery is because this area, this Rainier Valley area right there that we call Rainier Valley, that area right there, that was the Garlic Gulch. It was a big Italian neighborhood, and this bakery comes in there. You know what I'm saying? And Remo Borrachini's Bakery, it was, the staying power. That is the staying power of creating a quality product, because the neighborhood changed over a century. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood changed. And if you're like from Seattle, then you know that there was nothing. A birthday wasn't a birthday without that pink box from Borrachini's Bakery. I mean, it was something special, huh?
Yeah, let me just say this. I mean, I saw this before. Folks were seeing this story come out and putting comments out there like, oh my goodness, every birthday we had a cake from Borrachini's. And I'm so glad that I was able to get one of my son's last birthday cakes from Borrachini's before it closed due to COVID. I was really hoping that it was going to be a temporary closure, because there is nothing like their whipped cream frosting, man. I just got to say, it was one of a kind. And honestly, every time you got a Borrachini's cake, let's say you just got it on a plate and you took that first bite, you knew it was Borrachini's, man. And this is one of those things where for me, I'm like, they had some amazing things in there. And I traveled and went through there, went around the store before they closed, like, let me get one of those. Let me get a cannoli. Let me get this. And really just, again, what a loss for our community, man. I don't know if anything's going to be able to replace it, though.
And like I said, I know that, some of our viewership are people that are just new to Seattle. And it's just the nature of what our city is right now. But I could tell you that when we talk about a loss to our city, and it's crazy because, like I said, that we have our community voices Vanish in Seattle, episode 2 here on Thursday at 7 p.m. But so many things in our city are vanishing, and it's these things that just mean so much. You would, excuse me, you wouldn't think that, like, oh, okay, here's this bakery or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And especially us over here. I mean, this is how dope Seattle is. I know everybody talks about whatever, all these kind of things, you know what I'm saying, and community, and sometimes we talk about race and color and everything else. We always knew Borrachini's was these Italians.
Yeah.
And they got it, but that was like family.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that was the thing, is when you're a mainstay, they were a mainstay in the community. It's like you never even saw like, oh, it's this or that. That was just Borrachini's, because Borrachini's joints was, that was a spot. And then also just going there for lunch, you get these big sub sandwiches they make for you over there at Borrachini's. And so much of like Seattle stuff is disappearing. And some of it through development, and some of it through COVID, through gentrification. But like, to be like just a regular everyday Seattle kid, man, these losses just keep mounting.
They really do. And, one of the things you said there that I agree with wholeheartedly was the beauty of Borrachini's was it didn't matter who you was. I always felt at home going up in there. 100%. Some establishments, sometimes you walk in and you're like, I got to get something from this place, but it doesn't feel good buying it, right? Like, you're looking at me, you're not being friendly, you're not being hospitable. Never felt that at Borrachini. So I love us bringing up that message that it was, hey, our Italian brothers and sisters, real family. I mean, that's what it was about, man.
Well, that'll tell you something about the Borrachini family, right? Is that the things changed over a century, but they changed with them.
Yeah.
Like I said, when that bakery was first founded, Garlic Gulch, every almost probably all their customers looked like them. And not only looked like them, but had the same journey as them. They might have been, Italian background or Italian immigrants or anything else. And 100 years later, before they closed their doors, look how diverse the customer base was.
Yeah.
Sitting there in the Rainier Valley and the northern part of the Rainier Valley. I mean, some of these most diverse zip codes in America. And everybody knew, didn't matter your background or whatever, man. If you wanted a good cake, you were going to Remo Borrachini. So we're going to follow this up. I think that we're going to be talking to Cynthia Brothers over at Vanish in Seattle. And, what I'm saying, we got to, I don't know. It just seems like we got to send Remo Borrachini's out right. So much history there. Back when Six Stadium was here, a lot of people don't even realize the Lowe's that's right there on Rainier and was that McClellan. Yeah, that was the very first baseball stadium, just right down the street from Borrachini. So.
I just got to say too that when we talk about these relief funds, helping businesses stay open, I think about legacy businesses like Borrachini's, and I'm like, man, how come they couldn't get that bailout? Like, give them something right now to mend the ties so that they can stay open. These legacy businesses are so important and such a fabric of our community, man. Again, I'm glad that later in the week we'll be able to talk about this iconic business, man, because again, a legacy. And I agree. Let's let them go out right. Man.
Yeah, and old boy Alberto is moving from that location. It's right there. Oh boy, this is what I'm saying is when you look at the history now. I won't go too deep here in the morning update show. We're on the clock, but think about this. Old boy Alberto, right, is just a few blocks down the street from Remo Borrachini's bakery. And that'll tell you, like, when we talk about the history of these neighborhoods in Seattle, when we talk about the Garlic Gulch, man, you know what I'm saying? It was all Italians right through there in that area. And now, boy, Alberto, that building, they're moving on. And now Remo Borrachini is closing for good. So, but we're going to stay on top of this. Oh, boy, Alberto, another brand definitely loved by all people in Seattle.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? I'm glad that at least they're staying open, that iconic location, though. Again, I mean, so many people in the comments saying, how COVID has really hit our community, hit our neighborhoods, just changing the fabric of what we know of, things that we could rely on, man. It's something.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. All right, moving on real quick. I think everybody knows, but we need to bring it up here, is that we're moving into phase 3. So cautious optimism. Washington enters phase 3, loosen COVID-19 restrictions with hope, anxiety. And that's by Paul Roberts over there at the Seattle Times. So yeah, Trey Holiday, it looks like we're going in the 50 percentile here. Let me glance in my notes. All right, so many welcome the rule change, which will allow live attendance at sporting events and will boost indoor capacity at restaurants, retailers, fitness centers, and other indoor spaces to 50% as signs of progress against COVID-19 and critical steps for a battered economy. So now we're going into another phase, but man, I should have clipped that. We're going to put it here tomorrow. But Washington is very cautious because we don't have the sun and the beach like Miami. But did you see Miami Beach on the news?
Oh my goodness, man. Things is getting open, man.
Everything's 100% down there, one way or another.
Right, man. Hey, I don't know how many people are listening to the restrictions, if there are any restrictions, but I know for us up here in Washington, folks are really, again, that title really says it all. It's a mix of, cautious optimism, a bit of anxiety. I mean, we're seeing it, but folks are like, at least we can go to restaurants and maybe, these sporting events. So again, we'll see how it plays out over time.
Yeah. And man, Miami Beach was off the chain. They got curfew now from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And man, I got some people down there in Miami, right? Actually, it was a basketball tournament going on. The Rotary team here from Seattle was down there in Miami, I believe. Man, it was nuts though. I mean, in spring break, I guess we'll just see how this all plays out in regards to COVID and everything else. But us here in the Evergreen State, like I said, we're in phase 3. That's the 50 percentile. So, if we can support our local businesses, let's please do that. Shifting gears here, Trey Holiday. Last night was the Community Safety Town Hall presented by Public Health, Seattle King County's Zero Youth Detention, ZYD program, where they're trying to take a regional approach to be able to impact gun violence. And it was kind of like star-studded in a community sense, a star-studded event where you had the interim superintendent of Seattle Public Schools, Dr. Brent Jones. You had Nikita Oliver was there. You had Tiffany Washington, who was the deputy mayor of the city of Seattle, and all kinds of religious and educational and political leaders or organizational leaders there as well last night. And lots of men. Actually, you had a segment there, and we're going to play a clip here from when you were talking to Dr. Jones, Dr. Brent Jones, Seattle Public Schools, about what his vision is.
Yeah. I was so happy to be a part of the town hall last night. Honestly, that's why we do it. We work around the clock. People were like, man, Trey, you went from the anniversary show on Friday, and then you did a home ownership event on Saturday. You were doing the town hall Sunday. You know what? At the end of the day, our community is needing of this information. And I was so elated to hear about this collective approach. So many of the panelists were talking about that. We talk about it here. I know I do all the time in my work. And so it was just a beautiful thing to witness and be a part of.
All right. So we got a clip right here. This is Dr. Brent Jones answering your question as to vision as he sees as far as education and how it intersects with being able to disrupt gun violence.
So one of the things that we need to start thinking about is not just having a deficit model for our children, but our children, our students to thrive. And one of the things that I talk about is really being Seattle ready, being global ready. And so I want our children to be competitive in their chosen field, self-actualize, have identity, safety, secure in who they are, and become great citizens. Our school systems need to be working on those fronts to really take advantage of community's knowledge and wisdom and center students' voices so that we know what we're doing and what we're offering to students and family is relevant and meaningful. So the new day, hopefully under my superintendency, is that we're going to center lived experiences of families and students. We're going to really take our cues from community leaders and trusted advocates so that we can make our systems work on behalf of our students in ways they haven't in the past. And that's going to require us to really look at structural dynamics. We've always looked at what were the symptoms. Let's get down to the root causes and figure out what do we really need to do? What kind of investments, targeted investments that we need to make? I heard CC talking about that, recapturing our resources and targeting to our children who our system hasn't worked for decades. So those are the type of things that I'd like to see happen over time. And I think those are some of the keys to really breaking this school to prison pipeline. Let's get out in front of some of these issues. And again, be led by community's wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah.
Trey Holiday?
Absolutely. I mean, this is for me, the root of the solutions right here. You know what I mean? I think I love what CC was talking about in terms of, look, give us our resources back. It's not a new investment in community. It really is being able to repair past harms of divestment and the ways that policies and legislation have gone against many Black communities in particular, getting the resources that they need to have thriving and healthy communities. And that's really what was at the heart of this discussion last night. I love what Dr. Brent Jones said right there in terms of, let's think about the real solutions to the root causes of these issues. And we are hearing a current theme, a reoccurring theme coming out where when we're talking about changing the ways that we look at community safety, we're really talking about upping the ante on other measures when it comes to education, mentorship, direct investment in youth, a direct connection for youth, creating pathways. They had an amazing graphic also last night that I love that started with a Black pregnant woman going through this and what is needed to ensure that that child has all of the opportunities available to that child so that they're not entering the criminal justice system, so that they're not having interactions with the police, so that all of those kinds of things can be lessened. And what's heightened for them are the opportunities for them to enter into the workforce and get livable wage incomes, for them to have the abilities to be in AP classes during their education. Thinking about things in a different approach, but also holistic approach is really the way to go. It was a key factor last night. I was thrilled, honestly.
All right, we got a few more clips from last night, so we'll move through those. So this is Willard Jimerson right now, right here. We're getting ready to play it. Derek Wheeler Smith, the director of Zero Youth Detention. We talked to Willard about, basically from my end, what I took from it is how they're acquiring so much data, and they're acquiring data through so many different sources, and they're able to put profiles together as to the roots of gun violence and actually the total number of people who are out there shooting and people impacted and some everything else. Play that one right now, all you.
And can you talk a little bit about, are there any hospital-based interventions that are wrapped into the work that's going on with the Go First strategy?
Yes. So to answer your first question, how many young folks in King County? We're doing a regional approach in this regard. So in King County, how many young folks do we have documented that's been exposed to high-risk violence such as gun victims, gunshot victims? And right now we have 150 young folks that has been reported through hospital calls, who have been visiting the hospitals. So we have a sense of urgency around this, and also looking at King County's prosecuting attorney's office list as we do in our collaboration. These are one of the expectations in terms of we work with the King County prosecutor's office only to look at the young folks that need the high level intervention that most law enforcement agencies only intervene if the young person is in trouble with the law. And so this is part of the reason why we work with the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, is because we intervene. They don't have to be in trouble, but their lives are at risk. And so there's 80 young folks who have been identified on this list through the SNA, which is a social network analysis, to say that when we responded to young folks who have been victims of gun violence, they may have been a witness. And with the SNA, the social network analysis is showing that those young folks who have been witnesses to gun violence, they either become a victim next week or the perpetrator in retaliation to maybe the person that had witnessed becoming a gunshot victim. So that's the only time the police can intervene. But for our specialists and those who are doing the work on the Go First strategy on the ground level, we intervene way before that. So it's 80 young folks on that list, and there's 150 who have been documented who have been gunshot victims in King County.
Wow.
All right. And so with this, and actually when we talked to Prosecutor Satterberg a few months ago, I was kind of saying the same thing, that big data is able to help these guys identify who are the shooters and how many shooters are out there. But then also it's like the math gets crazy because it says that, like, if you've ever shot a gun, your chances of being shot or shootings is, if you've ever witnessed a homicide, if you know what I'm saying, if you know somebody who's been shot, what are your chances of whatever? So they've been able to kind of super compute some of these issues around youth gun violence here in King County.
Well, this is why the measures around preventive care is so necessary. We talk about this oftentimes. It's the same kind of conversation that happens with mental health or with public health when we're talking about how doctors treat you after you already have diabetes. But why aren't we actually looking at what you need to never get diabetes? Those are the measures. We have to start flipping it because so much of our society is built on us being unhealthy. Last night, somebody was talking about, hey, yeah, look, as much as we want to work with the Supreme Court on some of these issues, if we really make it right, the Supreme Court would almost be obsolete with regard to this. So a lot of this stuff, when we talk about how revenue is driven for certain things, oftentimes it is because we are creating unhealthy societies. If we're all healthy, we begin to lessen the need for those kind of measures. And so I think that right now it's so important for the community to be focused on the preventive care, preventive measures, so that our folks are never entering the system, so that our people are healthier. That's really the key here.
Right. And one other thing that's interesting about last night's event as well is that the mix of panelists, we mentioned this earlier, that you had everything from the school board over there to Nikita Oliver was a facilitator of one of the panels, lots of people from religious community, but also represented from the mayor's office, and someone that we talked about here on the Morning Update show, Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington, who I really personally feel, Trey Holiday, is the right person at the right time in the right position. Go ahead and play this clip on you.
I'm going to go right to Miss Tiffany Washington, Deputy Mayor of the City of Seattle. What are some of the things that are taking place currently that really give you hope when we talk about community safety from a regional perspective?
What I was just pondering on when everyone else was talking was the fact that we're calling it, that we're acknowledging that it needs a public health approach. For so many years, I'm a baby of the crack era. And Black women were demonized during the crack era, put in prison, children were taken away, and it was a crime. And it wasn't until drug addiction started to hit the suburbs and the single working white mothers that it became a disease. And now we're full into the opioid crisis, and everybody's calling it a disease and that it needs to be healed, and it's a sickness. And so for me, Davida and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Marshall talking about violence as a public health issue that's both identifiable, treatable, and preventable. And so for me to call it, for us to now be talking about it from a public health approach is so important, because absent that, they talk about our young Black and brown boys and girls as criminals, when really the only reason why a young person, or anybody in that matter, would have a gun in their hand and harm somebody else is oftentimes because something was done to them or they've been harmed themselves. And so these young people need to be, it needs to be identified, it needs to be treated, and it needs to be prevented. So that is the thing that makes me the most excited right now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington right there.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about here, that when we now have this data, this is stuff that I think a lot of people have really understood from a street level perspective in many communities, that when you have somebody that has been, exposed to certain things, they are more likely to be on the other side of what they were exposed to. And I think so much of this right now with what Tiffany Washington said there around it being identified as a public health health issue, for whatever reason, right? We talked about this on this show right here on this platform about how we're seeing a different approach with regard to, drugs, with regard to even kinship care. We've talked about this, but ultimately, I am glad that these are steps in the right direction, to be talking about this and targeting this as something that really is a public health issue. How do we deal with it now? And how do we start to have, again, that preventive care to keep folks from actually having to enter the system in that way?
And we reached out to the deputy mayor, to Tiffany Washington, and hope to hear back from her in her office. I think that it would be a good conversation. Like, man, every time that we've seen something from the deputy mayor, either here on our platform or in other places, it's like, Trey, you're a big person talking about lived experiences and things like that. I mean, clearly the deputy mayor has a lived experience that resonates with a lot of us here that come from the Central District or South End of Seattle.
Yeah. And one thing I got to say, having met with Tiffany Washington, I love her approach. At the end of the day, when we talk about the diversity of our elected officials' offices, of different administrations, what she's really bringing to the mayor's office is, again, a diverse perspective. And it's so needed right now. We have been talking about the lack of, Black folks at the city council level. And I think so much of what I experienced in meeting with her was that, look, I am a person that, has similar lived experience as many Black women out here that are from Seattle, and being able to bring in, her brother's, the injustices that he's had to deal with, and the fact that he's been a part of the system, and she brings that into her work, I think is so vital right now. And it's actually key when we talk about folks being able to, again, I love this analogy here. I think about a fashion production house, right? And how much better the fashion production house is when they bring somebody from the production floor up to the boardroom to help make decisions on the latest fashions that should be created out of that fashion house. And I think about that in terms of this right here, where it's like, look, we need these diverse voices at these upper levels of, elected officials, upper levels of management. We talk about that all the time, and she really represents that.
Definitely. And hopefully we'll get the deputy mayor on air here soon. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we're looking back to Friday, to the Morning Update Show 1 year anniversary special. We got a few clips out of there. You are watching the Morning Update Show.
Community Voices returns for 2021 with 2 very special episodes that examine the shifting demographics and cultures of Seattle. Converge Media proudly presents Community Voices, the Vanishing Seattle edition. This is a 2-part special that examines 4 Seattle neighborhoods: the Central District, Chinatown International District, the University District, and Ballard, all Seattle neighborhoods that have experienced great change and displacement due to gentrification, rising rents, and development, as well as found creative ways to stay rooted and resilient. Also, all neighborhoods that have a long and proud history, culture, and traditions that combined help shape the face of the Emerald City as we know it today. The Community Voices episodes will include films plus discussions with local small business owners and community members. These are 2 powerful live episodes that you will not want to miss. So make sure and save the date, March 18th and March 25th at 7 p.m. across all Converge Media platforms. Presented by the City of Seattle Department of Neighborhoods and Vanishing Seattle.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. And yeah, this Thursday at 7 p.m. is episode 2 of Community Voices, Vanishing Seattle. And man, Seattle, we see it vanishing. 7 o'clock. And this week we focus on Ballard and the Central District. So it's going to be a really dope show this Thursday at 7 p.m. Now, Trey Holiday. Man, I mean, Friday, we had it on and cracking,
Oh man, Friday was so much fun. And honestly, to have the whole Converge team, to be honest, all together, that is something that was so needed, to be able to be in space with everybody that brings their brilliance to this platform. I had a blast.
All right, good stuff. So we got a few clips here. Started off, we had to talk to the Deaf Chef, and of course, the people who saw the show on Friday realized the Deaf Chef was like a big inspiration in launching the Morning Update Show. And so here's a little snippet of our conversation on Friday night with the Deaf Chef.
We really feel like
No, not that one.
It's an honor for y'all to say that I inspired you, but y'all really inspired so much more than just this, because there's a lot of stuff that got brought to light, whether it was directly through you or not. It was because of the light you brought on the situation from day one, and y'all still here. Some people done got paid, ran off, disappeared. Y'all here.
Yeah.
Real
Absolutely.
recognize real.
Absolutely, brother.
Man, there it is. It's like, I just want to tell you, Def Chef, and it's always good. They say give people their flowers right here. I remember we wrote an article on you. Probably it was a year and a half right now, and we were talking about that if people ever wanted to cheer for the underdog, you know what I'm saying? Here's your opportunity, and you've consistently been committed to things in our community, especially young people and nutrition and everything else. And in front of our viewing audience here in the whole city, we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all having me, because you guys don't have to accept the help. That's one thing I always want to point out to anybody who call themselves helping the community. Community does not have to accept you. They don't have to embrace you. So when they do, treat it like it's a privilege.
Need somebody calling in an order right now, huh?
Man, come on, man.
The line is hot.
You see me on here.
This is the realest show on TV, man. Def Chef right there, man.
Yeah, and as I pointed out, man, I just gotta love his consistency. Always got the apron ready. You never know when he's gonna be on call. He's always ready, and it's such a genuine person in our community. I do many different projects with Def Chef, and honestly, every time he just shows up, he shows out. He's very, very genuine, and I appreciate, what he said there. We don't have to accept the help, and I love that he even put that out there, because oftentimes, community is a give and take. It's a push and pull, man.
I'll be honest with you. That's fine. Can I get this one right here? Yeah. My solo camera. Let me speak directly here to our viewers and good people of Seattle. That's the thing, right? Is like the community rocks with us. And so when I get all these death threats and hate tweets and everything else of people who've never been to the Central, never been to the CD, never been to Skyway, never Rockwall, people out there burying and Des Moines and Fedway and everything else, because I know it's like these people who come with all this hate messaging, that's not our community. You know what I'm saying? This is false flaggers. This is culture appropriators and some of everything else. And our community accepts us. You know what I'm saying? And we're accepted throughout our community, throughout the different municipalities and everything else. And whenever we get this hate messaging, I always tell them, hey, cuz, come see me on Union. You know what I'm saying? Come see me on Henderson. Come see me. It's weird, but it's definitely a dope feeling, because our community has accepted us, and that's exactly what we started the morning update show for.
Absolutely. That's why Friday was so beautiful, because honestly, it was like everybody was there pouring their love out. I know we got a couple more clips from Friday, because I was feeling the love. I left there filled.
Right. So next up here, it was part of the show we got a really big response on. And this was when we played the photo slideshow, a year in review put together by Jake Gravbrot. So I really thought that I would. Well, first of all, that's Jake Grabbright, as you guys already know, exceptional photographer. I really thought we'd make it through the Morning Update Show 1 year anniversary without me shedding a tear on screen. But Jake Grabbright had different thoughts about that. Man,
it's just such a testament because you guys have just put in so much work, and this community loves you guys. I mean, I see it every single day. Like I see the comments, and I help to monitor those kind of things. I just watch, and I see how much love that Converge gets, and it's because of how much you guys care and how much effort you guys have put into it. And somebody else said earlier, the community doesn't have to accept you, but the community has accepted you. I think it was Def Chef. That was who said it. And the community has accepted Converge, and what a honor that is. So, man, from the heart, as much as it possibly can be, I am so grateful to be here, and so grateful to have been able to glean the information and the knowledge that I get on a daily basis by just coming into the office. Me and Omari were today just working until 5 o'clock and deadlines, and just I worked until 3 o'clock this morning, and Omari was still there after I had left, and I came in at 8 o'clock this morning, and Omari was there, and that is the epitome of what I look up to, is that kind of work ethic, and that kind of care and concern for the community itself. So if I'm able to learn and glean from anything, it is the example that is given to me on a daily basis of you guys. So
wow, Jake. Oh.
Oh man. Oh, I would hug you out if I could right now. I love you, bro. So much.
Still kind of speechless, Trey Holiday.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the love that was shown to us. I mean, my gosh, I really am so honored. And that's the top word when people ask me. It's like that, my life force, my passion for TV, film, production can be used in this way, and bring about so much love from our community and to our community. Jake said it all there, man.
He did. He said enough, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? Man, we went through a lot the last 12 months, man. And Jay captured a lot of it right there. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break right now. Oh, real quick, before we take a break, I saw this in the comments. Someone wanted us to mention, I think that it was I forget exactly who it was, but that the mayor's council for African American elders, they're looking for people to join. I know it's so political here in Seattle. So this is not Mayor Durkin's Council of Africa. The council started way back when, I believe, under Mayor Norman Rice. And so this is, the Mayor's Council of African American Elders. They're seeking positions. Tomorrow we'll have more information. We can put in the links, or I think Lenny, if you're watching, you can go ahead and put the link in the comments right now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're checking in with Devon and Kiana Pickett over at the Postman. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Community Voices returns for 2021 with 2 very special episodes that examine the shifting demographics and cultures of Seattle. Converge Media proudly presents Community Voices, the Vanishing Seattle edition. This is a 2-part special that examines 4 Seattle neighborhoods: the Central District, Chinatown International District, the University District, and Ballard, all Seattle neighborhoods that have experienced great change and displacement due to gentrification, rising rents, and development, as well as found creative ways to stay rooted and resilient. Also, all neighborhoods that have a long and proud history, culture, and traditions that combined help shape the face of the Emerald City as we know it today. The Community Voices episodes will include films plus discussions with local small business owners and community members. These are 2 powerful live episodes that you will not want to miss. So make sure and save the date, March 18th and March 25th at 7 p.m. across all Converge Media platforms. Presented by the City of Seattle Department of Neighborhoods and Vanishing Seattle.
All right, welcome back to the morning update. Showman is Omari Salisbury. And you know what, Trey Holiday? One of the best parts of working on this vanishing Seattle special edition of Community Voices was with the postman, and especially with the pickets. And we're going to be playing some of these clips throughout the week. I got like real deal archival footage, like from two plus years ago when they first opened, up doing interviews with them when the post office closed, and it was these heated debates up there at Garfield Community Center about where the new post office is going to be. And Kiana Pickett's out there, and Kiana's like way pregnant, and she's already out there with the two other kids. Her husband Devon's down there at the shop, and she's over there like, yo, we want this and that. I got all that footage. And so for the next few days, we're going to be sharing it. But for today, we've actually got some stuff Jake shot, but you know the Pickets well.
Yeah, you know what? Again, hands down to them. Amazing husband and wife team, just really doing it. And it reminds me of something that Buki said yesterday off camera, which was, you know, look, if I can't be in business with my wife, my life partner, like what am I really doing? And they are such a great example and epitome of that. So I'm glad that we have this clip to share.
There it is, a short clip right here. And actually, you're going to see this in full. This was shot by no surprise, Jake Gravbrot. And audio on this one is actually by producer Nikki Barron, who turns out knows how to do everything, including some audio. But it's busy, though, because the shop was still open, right, Jake? A lot of the stuff you guys have shot, it was like, you know, you got after hours and everything else. But at the Postman, it was like the doors were still open, right? All right, so that's what you hear in the background. This package is getting taped up. Short clip right here from Community Voices, Vanish in Seattle. It's going to be airing 7 p.m. on Thursday, right here and across Vanish in Seattle platforms.
We really feel like we came in at a time where the community was really being hit with gentrification and like it really being something like this is happening now, and it's like not something we can prevent, but we're like right in the middle of it. And then with the USPS leaving and a lot of people really relying on that service, it was really a pivotal time when we came in and we were like embraced with open arms because people needed the services. We brought back faxing. People were not able to send a fax anywhere. And so what we've done is what Devon loves to say is we took a mundane type of service like shipping or the postal service and like created something that's like a culture, and you come in here to get lifted up, and like there's just so much that we brought to the community that it was missing, and that we're like growing off of what was already here.
Trey Holiday, I'm not ashamed to say I kind of love the Pickets.
You can't be ashamed to say that because honestly, once again, when we talk about, you know, community media and Converge in particular, we're about our community, man. And the Pickets are, again, a great example of that to come from, you know, this area to move in his grandfather's legacy and create something like what she just said there, taking something mundane like shipping and receiving, you know, packaging. And now we have a Black-owned space where we can do that business. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and so we're looking forward to it. That's this Thursday, 7 p.m. Community Voices, the Vanish in Seattle edition, episode 2. Really want you guys to tune in. You know, it's exceptional. And we're doing Skull Bar in Ballard, in the Postman, in the Central District. Man, it's important, especially this news from excuse me, about Borrachini's. It's important, man, that, you know what I'm saying, that we recognize these things. We got a next up, So tomorrow, he's a comedian and a cartoonist, Brett Hamill. Can you believe? I see some hands in the air back there from the director's seat. We've got a Brett Hamill fan. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 2. Oh, my goodness. Hands are in the air. So we've got Brett Hamill tomorrow. Some of you guys, if you read the South Seattle Emerald, those are our partners. So you definitely should. You see the comic strip that's in there? That's Brett Hamill who makes those comics. And so Brett will be joining us tomorrow. And and the best thing is it's cartoonist, and comedian. So I'm looking forward to having a good time with Brett Hamill tomorrow.
There we go. I'm glad, and I'll be having to watch from the airwaves. I'll be gone tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
tomorrow.
but there it is. I'm glad that this is something that I'll be able to tune into afterwards. So
it's cool.
I won't be missing.
Maybe Jake Grabrod will join me tomorrow and be my co-host. Any last words before we get out of here, Trey Holiday?
You know what? I want to say thank you to everybody who, has continued to show us love, continue to show us support. And I'm going to keep with my message of see yourself as a part of the solution. It's something we talked about yesterday during the community town hall on regional safety. And I just want to encourage people to find a way to make yourself a part of the solution.
All right, good stuff. Man, I got too much stuff to say to get in before the end of the show. But well, first of all, though, I do definitely want to say thank you to the State Hotel in downtown Seattle. Okay, hold on real quick. Grabrod and Holiday here. Both of you guys stayed there at the State Hotel.
Yes.
It was comfortable? It was dope?
Let me say this. Shout out to State Hotel. Shout out to Patrick Foley of Lake Union Partners. He let me know how big of a fan he is of the Morning Update show. I'm so glad that I was able to run into him. And they just showed me so much love throughout the weekend. I just got to say thank you, guys. I'll definitely be back. It's an amazing stay.
All right. Yeah, no, we had a good time. If you guys watched the anniversary show, you saw that me and Bay Holiday were down here at the studio where we're at right now. And when we arrived at the State Hotel, our colleagues had ran through the open bar tab. So I was greeted with the remaining tab, but they had a good time. So that's all that matters. Like
everybody was like, "Man, where was you at? We thought you was gonna be down here with us."
Okay, Shaggy.
It's all good. Yeah.
But big shout out to the State Hotel. Appreciate you guys over there. Big shout out to Rob, to Amy, and to there's Rob, there's Amy, Kelly. See, I look at you long enough. Wait, you gave me that serious look. You better remember.
You got it.
So big shout out to Rob, Amy, and Kelly over there at the State Hotel, and also a big shout out to the Seattle Times. And I want to say that when we said that we wanted to do this anniversary show, and that to produce it would take more than what we have.
Yeah.
As far as our people and resources, Seattle Times instantly, just right away was like, hey man, how can we support you guys? Which was dope. And then of course the Seattle Association of Black Journalists. And we really committed a good part of the anniversary show to recognize and acknowledging the legacy of Black journalists here in Seattle from way back when you talk about the Catons to modern day. We talk about Essex Porter and Deborah Horn.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just another part of that legacy that we talk about so much. The acknowledgement piece is so important. And I know for so many out there, that's why we played it again today, because it resonated with people.
All right. So we're going to get ready to get out of here right now. And I'll tell you this, as usual, let's remember to go forward in our purpose and go forward in our humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise.
way that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.